I think we're good to go. I think we're good. Okay, my stream is definitely up there. It's definitely going.
Yep.
Waiting
So is
for
mine.
some people to join. Awesome. Then we haven't failed our respective audiences. We remember what we're doing and how to do it.
Hell yeah. How about you do your little intro spiel first, and I'm just gonna spam some links in the background.
Sure. Yeah, Josh is already here. He's taken back his crown as the first person to tune into my streams, as usual. Hi, everybody. I am Fiverr. I am the person behind the channel Sugar Candy Miniatures, and also Liam's friend, and sometimes we co-stream. We're still not smart enough to know how to put two screens on one thing, so you can have his stream on in the background and listen to the audio off mine, or you can have my stream on in the background and listen to the audio off his, so that we get some algorithm and views and YouTube and painting and other buzzwords. I mainly paint miniatures to look like they're made out of candy because I don't really know. I don't have a good reason for it. That's just what I do. And today I've got this fantastic, totally, definitely legally licensed, not at all stolen or copyright infringed Furby head on the body of a traditional fantasy griffin that my friend Elsie 3D printed for me. So this little horror is what I'm going to be painting up tonight. What about you, Liam?
Well, I'm also coming back from a brief stream just a very brief hiatus, so I'm just doing a casual building stream. I've got 2 old school Gunpla kits that I've been sitting on for a while, and they're vaguely Christmassy colored, and you said this was a festive stream, sort of. So I was like, oh, these are kind of Christmassy colored. I'm gonna lower my holding screen now, so people can see what I'm talking about. Well, yeah, so we got it's a no grade, because I think the model kit came out before the like high grade and real grade was a thing. We got a Dragon Gundam from G-Gundam. It's like a tiny box, like a really basic one, I think. And then we got one from Double Zeta called the Hamma Hamma, which is pretty ridiculous looking, and it's pretty old. I wonder if I can see what year on the box. Not immediately. I'll have to dig deeper for that later. And I guess I'll do my intro now. I'm Liam, everybody. Hello, Millennial Model Mayhem. What Fiverr said, we co-stream together sometimes. And hello, Country Fried Minis. And yes, definitely watch both of our streams at the same time. Just mute the audio in one. Oh boy, I just looked at my stream preview and something's wrong. Alright, I need to just hide the old text box. It's not a big deal. I changed my stream layout, but I guess in the update my computer got the OBS turned it back on.
Oh, okay. They're saying your voice is quiet. Hang on, let me turn that up.
Yeah, you could probably
Thank you
turn
for
me
that,
up.
Josh.
Turn me up on Discord on your end. And
True,
yeah,
let me see about that as well.
People watching my stream, let me know if there's any issues. Oh, can the people on my stream hear hear Fiverr? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Okay,
please let us know.
It looks like the audio level is going up on mine, and so I think we're good.
Okay,
yeah, hello,
Josh,
everybody.
let me know if you can hear Liam. Please tell me.
Hello, Josh. Good job being the first into Fiverr's stream.
Yeah, Josh jokingly said, I can hear Liam now. Please turn him off. JK, just being mean.
Oh, so... damn, Josh. Okay. And I guess
that's not very in the holiday spirit of you, Josh. For shame.
Josh is just joshing around as usual.
Oh, wow.
Sorry. Not sorry.
You shouldn't be.
One last thing I guess we should say for the intro is that we don't, when we're doing the co-streams, we're talking with each other, so we don't check the chats and respond to the chats as much as we normally would, but we will sometimes, so you just have to live on the edge. We'll still check in with you.
Yeah. If you have a specific question, though, we will try and notice it. We might miss it, so it'll be like school. We'll take questions at the end. We do tend to ask if there's anything like specific that we missed, so if we don't see you, we're sorry.
I realized I need to open your stream in a separate tab and mute it so I can see this model you were talking about, because I haven't actually seen what it looks like, but you described it to me and I was like, hell yeah.
He's quite the little terror. I think I'm gonna be painting him mint chocolate chip for the most part, because I love painting those colors and they're easy for me to do, and this is just like a fun, stupid thing, so I'm not gonna be taking it too seriously.
Oh, nice. That looks pretty great, and the colors are very nice too. Very like on brand.
Let me get you a shot of its face, because that's really the part that screams Furby.
Oh, burp one.
Would like to focus. Hello, camera. No, you don't want to show the audience this beautiful Furby. This wonderful mistake of nature.
Sorry, I interrupted you with a burp there.
That's okay. You can kind of get the idea of what it looks like. But, yeah, there he is. He's got the Furby faceplate, like the griffin body with the lion tail and the wings. He's beautiful.
Very good.
And horrifying. And I'm so glad that this exists on the internet and I get to paint it.
Did you have to hire someone to 3D print it for you, or did they just... you could just order it?
So I have a friend named Elsie who has recently gotten a 3D printer.
Nice.
And she's very kind. She offered to print me some things. I did Venmo her a little bit of money because that's what friends do to support friends buying each other resin. But she previously printed this fantastic Blood Gut Knuckle Dragger mini by Miscast.
Yeah,
I painted him up. And he's beautiful, and I love him. And he's such a chonkster, so I'm really happy with how he came out. But yeah, it's really great when you don't have to be the one 3D printing. You can just rely on your friends who have 3D printers and give them a little bit of money for resin.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, if I need something 3D printed, I just need to politely ask one of my friends who has a 3D printer.
Yeah, that or pay someone on the internet to print it for me, because I can't be bothered with a setup like that right now.
So the first Gundam I'm building here is like very basic, and the sticker sheet, usually the stickers you just get the eyes, but the sticker sheet is just the entire faceplate is one big sticker, so that's gonna be fun to put on.
That's great.
Oh, thank you for the $5 super chat. Country Fried Minis says, "Notice me, senpai, and you have been noticed." So there you go. Oh, I'll look at the instruction manual. Oh, damn. Okay, so this Dragon Gundam I'm building right now has a 1994 in the instruction manual, so it's the same age as me.
That's wild.
I got this at the anime convention in my city this year.
Oh, nice.
For $8 Canadian dollars.
My convention season kind of starts and ends with Adepticon in March, so that's kind of it.
Yeah, I mean it's
that one's closer to where I live, so
it's
than
pretty
anything
easy
in
for
Canada.
You to get there.
Yeah.
I cannot afford to go to Adepticon, unfortunately.
Tragic. I hope you're able to some year. It would be really fun to meet up with you.
I'll get there one day. Similar to going to Warhammer World, this year.
Yeah.
You know, the Warhammer world is just a nerd pilgrimage item, or like a wargaming nerd pilgrimage item specifically. And you know, Adepticon is also on that list. I unfortunately am not rich, so I can't go to like the UK one year and Adepticon another year.
That makes sense. You gotta kind of space them out, and plus, life is expensive sometimes, so I don't blame you for that.
Life is so goddamn expensive these days.
It is wild. Thankfully, we don't have to think about the impending financial crises. We can just disassociate and play Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, I was wondering if you were gonna.
Oh, I was gonna segue that somehow. It was gonna happen.
I almost beat you to it and was like, yeah, life is expensive, but I'm still fine paying full price for Baldur's Gate. Am I right?
Game of the year.
Yep.
It won Game of the Year.
Honestly, least surprising thing I heard all week.
I know.
And also like, oh, Baldur's Gate won Best RPG. No way.
Yeah, it's like, what else? What are you gonna put up against it that has a realistic chance of winning this year?
Nothing.
Nothing. And it deserves it. Just like how last year I was like, oh, Elden Ring's got this because I played Elden Ring and it's fantastic. And look at that. Elden Ring had it.
Crazy how that happens.
Means I have played both games of the year, 2022 and 2023. Impressive. I only play like 2 games a year, so that's a lot.
Yeah, I have a funny story about when I got Baldur's Gate. But before I forget to bring it up, I see I'm looking at my webcam. I want to adjust my background lights a bit because I installed those fancy Bluetooth light bulbs that change color, and I found out tonight that they have like an alternating Christmas light strobe. So I'm gonna adjust those in my background so they're more visible.
Yes, please do. I'm just gonna say hi to people in my chat. Hello, Rothian. Hello, Goober. Hello, Gurmudgeon. Hello, Evil Anno. Evil Anno, it is way past your bedtime. Once again, I know it's like 2 a.m. there. Go to sleep. It's nice to see you all here. Like Liam said before, we are doing a co-stream, so I won't be watching the chat quite as closely as usual, but I will still try pop in and say hello. Warning to everybody, there will be mild Baldur's Gate 3 spoilers because we're going to talk about the game. We probably won't discuss anything outside of Act 1, but if you don't want anything spoiled, just go away now. This is the only warning that I'll remember to give, so that's all.
But Fiverr, what about our viewership?
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Well, I'd say we'll definitely be limited to only Act 1 spoilers, because I've only, like, I'd say, like, 80 to 90% done Act 1. That's where I hit that this week, and then I'm like, okay, I need to uninstall this so I can actually get some work done for now.
I've been on a pretty big hiatus for like mental health reasons, so my viewership is what it is. I'm not going to worry about chasing away 1 or 2 people with Baldur's Gate spoilers. It's only the loyalists that are showing up right now anyway, and I'm happy that you guys are here, but I'm also not worried about you leaving because we're discussing Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I guess.
Alright, Gurmudgeon. You know what? That's safe. I don't mind. You have yourself a nice night. You can check back in with us if you want in like 45 minutes. I don't know if we'll be done talking about Baldur's Gate, but I wouldn't want to spoil it for you. It's Game of the Year and it's worth playing.
Yeah, I'll take a chance to say hi to people in my chat, and then looks like I have a good segue. Yeah, hello Country Tribe Minis again. I will notice you a second time because you super chatted. And hello Raw Banhood. Doodle Bopped, that's a good name. What's my favorite Gunpla I built outside Barbatos? Probably the Gushin, because he's just gloriously thick. And yeah, RD,
Yeah.
this is like a no-grade kit from 1994, so it's a low sprue count. Apparently it's triggering Country Fried Minis' nostalgia, actually. And hello, Large Beverage. Oh, how fitting. Large Beverage's profile picture is Giorno from Part 5. Large Beverage asks, what class am I playing in Baldur's Gate 3? Well, the main character I've been doing a playthrough of, I started off as a bard. And the gimmick with my first playthrough is like, okay, everyone in the party, or like every companion, me included, has to be a dumb multi-class. No single classes allowed. So I started off as a bard, and I've just been I was a bard divination wizard from like level 1 to 5, and then now I've settled on bard rogue. So,
Okay.
or no, sorry, I'm a wizard rogue now. I was sad to give up the bard thing. It was fun while it lasted, but just, you know, party composition, it just be like that. The party it's taken me like, I feel like 50% of the last chunk of play time I did, I was just like respecking the party and trying to find like the optimal build that also like didn't break the story immersion too much, because I'm like, well, Will still has to be a warlock, because that's just like for the story reasons, you know. But it's like, he can't just be a warlock. He's got to be a warlock paladin. And Karlak, she has like some specific barbarian, or like one specific barbarian ability. So I'm like, okay, well, she could be a barbarian fighter. And then I think right now Shadowheart is a Tempest cleric.
Okay.
And that was more for like, I want the big explodey lightning moves, and like the Trickster Domain cleric isn't very good. For a while, I had Shadowheart be the like rogue ranger of the party, and that was fun. Yeah. What about you, Fiverr? Tell me about your party comp.
Okay, so I've been playing Baldur's Gate with my partner.
Nice.
So we're both playing together. I am almost always like a barbarian or a fighter in D&D, so my first instinct was to make a barbarian, which I did. My character that I've progressed the farthest on, I didn't know what to do for the design, and I was drinking Arizona green tea at the time, as I usually am. So I made an Arizona green tiefling. So they look like a can of Arizona green tea.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
Well, yeah.
I forgot to say that I was also playing a tiefling. Probably I should have mentioned.
Oh, hell yeah. That tracks.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's just like, yup. Given
no,
the similarities in our interests and perspectives on life, it tracks that we both pick tieflings.
In older editions of D&D, Dragonborn was my go-to, but I don't know, the tiefling was drawing me this time.
That's fair. Yeah, the Dragonborn designs are pretty cool, actually. My problem was, I knew that there were, like, romanceable characters in the game, and I was going to have a little bit of difficulty taking that seriously on a first playthrough if they were kissing, like, a big old Dragonborn. Yeah. I don't know why. I just keep thinking it was funny. Like, I'd chuckle the same way if it was, like, a gnome. So, for my first playthrough, I wanted to take it a little bit seriously. And I was like, Tiefling it's goofy enough, but it's not that bad. We can have a happy medium here.
Yeah, like, there's I had a moment where I used disguise self on one of my characters. I'm like, let's have Shadowheart be a Dragonborn for a bit, just for funsies. But then, like, her equipment is still the same, and the way the hat, like, morphs and stretches to fit the Dragonborn's, like, enlarged head just looked really funny.
It's silly. It's silly sometimes, but I want to eventually try out a couple of the other races, because it's fun to get, like, the race-specific dialogue in the game. Yeah. That's interesting that they give you reasons to play through on multiple characters.
Yeah,
I think our current... Sorry, you go ahead.
I was just quickly saying, like, there's like only one character I've put a significant number of hours into, but I've got like 3 more that I spent the, far too long in the character creator making, and be like, okay, this, my first playthrough, it's like the maximum friendship playthrough. I want like to collect every pet and every companion, and I want everyone to be friends. And then we'll save the, more spicy playthroughs for these other characters that I've set aside. And then, I made a new one when they patched the game recently, because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be my honor mode character.
I don't know what honor mode is. I haven't taken a look at it since the update. I've been busy.
It's like for the masochists, because you play, it's like makes everything harder, and you can't quick save, or you only get 1 save at a time, so you can't really save scum, and then if your character dies, the game like deletes your save file, so it's like you die for real.
Heck yeah. I like that they added a Dark Souls mode to Baldur's Gate 3.
So yeah, sorry, keep talking about your party comp.
Yeah, so typically it is barbarian, and then my partner is playing Gith sorcerer that's also a warlock. I don't know where the level split is because I don't remember numbers.
That's a good combo though.
And then typically alongside us we have Astarion, who is an assassin rogue, and also Karlach. So it is 2 barbarians, a sorcerer, and a rogue has been our party composition, for better and often for worse.
That sounds like a pretty fun combo though.
It's been so fun. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, the early bits of my playthrough, I had Lae'zel instead of Karlach. But then when the stuff happens with Will, that like happens like fairly early in Act 1,
sure,
I was like, okay, new head canon for the party. Now it's like, because I'm playing a tiefling, so it's like, okay, me the tiefling, Karlach the other tiefling, we're gonna take Will under our wing. We're gonna be like, see, Will, things aren't so bad, we'll show you the way. And Shadowheart is also there, because Shadowheart's my romance for this playthrough. I'm like, I gotta go for the goth chick first playthrough.
That's very fair. That's very fair.
It's like, yeah, I don't know how you are with the romance options in this game, but I'm like, aggressively checking the wikis, be like, no, I need to make sure I pick the Shadowheart approval option.
So I like to say that I've been playing the romance part of Baldur's Gate 3 on extreme difficulty, because my partner and I weren't together before we started playing Baldur's Gate 3, but as we continued playing, that sort of advanced, so I was more focused on my own romance than any of the ones in the game.
Damn, that is on hard mode.
Yeah, I know, like, wow, real life is weird sometimes. But then, Will ended up being very sweet to my character, and I was like, yeah, this works for them. So Will ended up being my romance for this first playthrough.
Nice.
I feel like a lot of people are just overlooking his character.
He's a pretty good boy.
And I don't really understand why. Like, he has enough going on, in my opinion, that the people that are calling him boring are wrong. I think maybe he doesn't have the same ambition as characters like Gale or Astarion or Lae'zel, but I think he's really neat and interesting, and also it's cool to be a nice person. Like, that's really neat. Being kind is really cool.
Yeah, no, Will's been in my party the entire time. I like him. Initially, well, the entire time I've been playing, it's been hard. The romance has been hard for me, because there's like, so all the characters are very romanceable, like it. Before I settled on Shadowheart on this first playthrough, I'm like, oh, but like Gale's really good too, but also like Lae'zel has the bit of like the tsundere vibe, which is attractive. So I don't know. Second playthrough, the second. Yeah, I don't know which one will be second, but it's hard after the Shadowheart playthrough. I'll be like, I don't know. Do I want to be dominated by Karlach or Lae'zel? Such a dilemma. It's like, or do you just want to like hang out with Gale and like meet his cat and stuff?
His cat's cool.
I'm really looking forward to meeting his cat. I'm assuming that happens at some point because they keep bringing it up.
Yeah. It's further in, but you'll get there. You'll get there.
It did sting a little, like the recent part I got to in Act 1, where it's like I got kind of sort of rejected, but not really, by all the other companions, because I had already like progressed along the Shadowheart path, and they're like,
sure.
And it's like, yes, I'm happy with my choice with Shadowheart, but still, there's still a little sting from just the dialogue you get from them, where they're like, oh, I see you're already taken.
Well, yeah. I remember Lae'zel just being like, well, I guess you're already spoken for. No worries, I didn't want to sleep with you anyway, and it's like, that's valid.
Yeah, Lae'zel and Astarion are, like, two equally spicy flavors of, I don't know, spicy, I don't know how I'm trying to describe it here, but yeah, I remember Astarion was like, or he was complaining, he's like, oh, I don't like this party. He's like, I wish this party was like, more fun. Bro, and he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I mean sex, but not with you, of course. I'm like, damn.
Damn, bro. Yeah, I thought the party was a great time. I was like, this is great. Everybody's hanging out, having a good time. When Astarion was like, this party sucks, I was like, okay, go find your own party. You don't have to be so grumpy, sir.
It's like that one time I tried to just casually talk to him after a long rest, and he was just like, not now, I'm brooding. I'm like, okay.
He's busy brooding sometimes, but he's cool. I really like the arc for that character. Wild. You're about to have such a ride, honestly.
Yeah, I've heard some things. Did you find the special closet familiar shovel?
I did. I absolutely adore, and first of all, let's get this correct.
Excuse me.
That closet's name is Fork, as far as I'm concerned. I love Fork. Fork is the best thing. I love that little guy. Like, the epitome of an evil little guy. Adore that closet. Tragically, I did not do any research ahead of time on how, like, familiars worked or anything like that. So my character summoned Fork, was delighted, but then later had no way of, like, learning that as a permanent summon.
Yeah.
So dismissed Fork, and then had no way of getting that back. So on an alternate playthrough, I will have Fork alongside me, but tragically, in my original, that didn't happen, because mistakes happen in game, and that makes it interesting and worth doing. I have not save scummed.
Yeah, I was about to bring up save scumming. Like, I'm generally a pro save scumming guy, or like person, especially if it's like a one-player game. It's like, who cares if you're save scumming? And for my first playthrough, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like explore every nook and cranny here. I'd want to like do as much in this first playthrough, and then like the second and third playthroughs, those ones can be where I go like a bit more feral or go goblin mode or whatever.
I tend to stick to the choices that I make, but sometimes I will reload something. A, if I die, like, I'm not just starting a whole new game.
Yeah.
Or B, if I feel like I didn't understand what the game was asking me to do, or if I misinterpret, like, a line of dialogue, and I say something that I'm like, yeah, clearly this is, like, a friendly retort, and it's like, oh no, you were actually telling them you were gonna eat all their children and murder their entire village. It's like, that's not what I wanted to say. So some things like that I'll change decisions on, but
Yeah.
by and large, especially because I'm, like, leaning into a more good character at this point, I'm just sticking with the decisions that I've made.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't like... I tried to not to save scum too often. But, you know, if I accidentally do something that gives Shadowheart's disapproval, I'm like, okay, better save scum.
I don't care. Like, everybody should enjoy this game however they want. They put in the save mechanic to be utilized. Like, I don't really understand the discourse for it. Do whatever you want. It's your game. You bought it. You paid your $60 for it like everybody else. Have fun with it however you want to.
Yeah, and back to my chat for a second. Country 5 Minis says during their playthrough, Asterion got a stake right in the heart for his nighttime choices. Dead, dead, dead. I let him bite me personally, but maybe I won't for the next playthrough. And Doodle Beyond played a Barbarian Warlock. That's an interesting combo. I haven't seen that one yet. And Country Fried did a Bard Rogue and said it was an incredible time.
Very cool. Very cool.
Oh, and what is it? Teach Me says the plastics look cheap. It doesn't feel... It does look a little cheap. Maybe it doesn't feel that much cheaper than a regular high grade, though. But I'd say maybe the plastic feels slightly more brittle, which I'd say is fair since it's like a 30-year-old model kit.
My chat's been pretty chill, which is cool. It looks like Anna went to bed. Goober agrees that Will is a great character. It's just that all the characters are great, so it's hard to have one that truly stands out, which is extremely valid.
Yeah.
Josh is still here. Yes, I see you, Josh. You haven't been forgotten, I promise. You just hadn't said anything.
Oh, I think probably
I see you.
One of the not like an NPC that's not a companion that I've been enjoying was Volo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I like how the game gives you, like, clearly gives you the option to, like, let him perform surgery on you, but it's like, I don't know about this. And then I, like, looked into it after.
Like a nice guy, Volo.
It's like, oh, you can just let him gouge your eye out for no benefit. Mm-hmm. If you want.
Yep. You sure can.
It's like respect that they just built the game that way.
Player agency really seemed to have been one of their focuses. I have also, yes, Atomic Topher, this Furby is also a griffin. That is what I am painting right now.
A fur-griffin?
A friffin?
A friffin?
Yeah.
A furbin?
Friffin, I think. Furbin's pretty good. There's a lot of things you could call it. I call it a beautiful mistake of nature, but you know, take your pick.
I think you should name your Furby Griffin Carl Furbin.
I don't think I'll do that. I might name it Ladle, in honor of Fork, the Quasit.
Okay.
Because one of the fun things that you can do, you find out that the person you're playing with is really obsessed with having their inventory all neat and organized.
Oh man.
Is just pick up random stuff and put it in places in their inventory. At one point, my partner sarcastically asked me, because I don't know what's valuable in video games. I don't ever seem to pick up on that, except until, like, you know, you're further in and you have a good sense of what makes sense to pick up in the game. So I was picking up stuff just at random, and he'd be like, what is this? Why do you have this? So one point, sarcastically, he was like, do you want a ladle, when he found one? And I was like, yeah, I'll take a ladle. And so ever since, every ladle that I have found, every single one, has been hidden in his inventory somewhere, and sometimes he finds them, and sometimes he doesn't for a while. It's great.
You monster.
I know.
I feel like I've spent just as much time reclassing my characters as I have just been doing the inventory management. And most of the time I do enjoy me some good old inventory management. I got that kind of obsession where I could like spend a lot of time meticulously organizing everyone's backpacks, but Baldur's Gate really it definitely has a lot of inventory management.
Not if you play the way I do.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is, don't manage anything. Let it all spiral wildly out of control and then wonder mid-battle why you can never find what you need. It works perfectly. I have not crafted a single thing. I still don't know how the crafting abilities work. But I keep finding magically that there are health potions in my inventory that don't seem to deplenish because my loving partner has been like, please, for the love of God, stop using all of the health potions. But I keep doing it. I'm terrible to play video games with, truly, but I am having a great time.
Well, having a great time isn't terrible, so... Yeah, it took me... what difficulty are you playing on?
Just like the regular one, not any of the, like, extreme survival mode. It's just, this is the standard experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm playing on
the... It's not the story mode one, it's just the... I forget what the fake name they call it is.
I think it's called Balanced, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm playing on Tactician, which is, like, the level above that.
Okay.
And for a while I was letting all the potions and crafting items and scrolls pile up, but then at a certain point I'm like, okay, this is getting kind of hard now. I actually need to use some of this stuff, but most of the time all the stuff I'm crafting, it's either like health potions or elixir of giant strength.
Oh hell yeah, that's a good one.
I let Will and Karlak just juice themselves up in the morning to get big for the rest of the day, and then there's also the potion of arcane cultivation that just like you get spell slots back when you chug one of those back.
Sure.
And there's been a couple moments where what's it called? Oh, potion or elixir of glorious vaulting has come in handy for when I just need to jump up somewhere really high or far away.
That or Misty Step has really been quite helpful.
Yeah, good old Misty Step. It's like, Misty Step, that's one of those things where the knowledge from, like, in real life D&D games comes in. It's like, you always gotta have Misty Step if you got the option to have Misty Step.
Yep, that's a good one. Like, everybody knows to take, like, cure wounds and stuff like that, but I have been routinely astounded how things like Featherfall really do come in handy every now and again.
Yeah. And I think part of that comes from just Larian Studios in their previous games had a lot of verticality and stuff. Stuff like that. Like, definitely in the regular games of D&D I played over the years, like, shoving people off cliffs played far less a part in those adventures, but in Baldur's Gate 3, like, I'm always on the lookout for opportunities to shove someone off a cliff, you know?
That's very fair. Shove is my favorite, like, bonus action to do. I just love it. It's fun. Even if I don't have a purpose for it, I'll still do it, because, hey, look, I get to push a person, and that's funny.
Yeah, I had a good moment.
Oh, I have a question. For me, okay. Not for both of us, but Roz is here. Hello, Roz. Hi. And also, Eric, who want to know what the candy cane mat that I have is made out of. It's just fabric. It's a fabric, like, table runner from probably Target last year or similar. If I get paint on it, I'll just throw it in the washing machine, and it'll be fine. It's here. It makes everything look festive and cute, so it's serving its purpose. No need to worry about it. If it gets paint on it, it gets paint on it. Not the end of the world.
What you should have said was, it's made of candy canes, obviously.
Yeah. Authentic, freshly harvested candy canes.
I
have
had a
another
good.
table runner as decoration on my coffee table, and it's just got cat fur all over it at this point. Because the boys keep jumping on the coffee table.
Oh, those boys.
Yeah. They little scamps.
How are the boys doing?
They're wonderful and so misbehaved. I love them. A friend from the Goobertown Hobbies server had me for the annual Goobertown Secret Santa gift exchange, and while I got this lovely, incredible miniature that Louise Sugden designed, this wonderful fishing goblin that I can't wait to start painting up.
Yeah, I saw your pic of that.
My cats have been very much enjoying the box that these things came in. They've been fighting over that, so that's been quite fun to witness.
Classic cat behavior.
Absolutely classic. Can't beat it. Cat loves a box.
I'm at the point where I'm actually putting the pieces of this kit together now, and whoever was asking before, teach me I'm starting to feel the cheapness of the plastic a bit more now that I'm trying to get them to fit together, because they not going together super well.
But it was 1994's plastic, so
yeah. Gotta cut them a bit of slack.
I guess they have a little bit better technology for that nowadays.
Yeah, they do. Did you end up playing Armored Core 6?
I have not gotten that one yet. That is, so I typically only play like 1 or 2 games a year because I take forever to beat video games, and I don't always like the ones that I pick out. So like something like Death Stranding, which I bought a few years ago, never finished, probably won't ever finish, ended up not liking it very much. But I have narrowed down the games that I will be buying, because I had 3 that I was debating between after one of my favorite gamer YouTubers, Jacob Geller, released the annual top 10 video games of 2023 list, which is usually what I then choose from for what games am I going to buy to play the next year.
Yeah, I watched that video yesterday, actually.
It was a good video. I enjoyed it.
I like the part when he was like, I actually deserve to be roasted for not checking out Baldur's Gate 3. I was like, damn, Jacob, you deserve to be roasted for that.
Yep. I'm sure Jacob will get around to checking out Baldur's Gate 3. I feel like that'll happen at some point.
Yeah, but he has to.
Time is fleeting, you know? Like, there's only so many hours in a year to play video games. But I had it narrowed down to Lies of P, Alan Wake 2, and Armored Core 6 as the ones that I was going to choose from. And then I saw a lot of gameplay footage of Lies of P, and I was like, you know what? Let me try that out. I loved Bloodborne, so
yeah, I was gonna
anything that is supposedly as good should probably be given a try. And I bought it today, and I've gotten past the tutorial level and the secondary level, and now I'm fighting the scrapped Watchman, which is I think it depends on if you count one of the guys as a boss or a mini boss, but it's either the 2nd or 3rd boss, so
yeah,
I've been disappearing into that a little bit more than I would care to admit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, on your list there you have 2 Dark Souls-like games on there. One from FromSoft and one from a studio that seemed to just kind of pop up and be like, yo, what up, we got a Souls-like game that's based off Pinocchio, and it's pretty good, and everyone's like, damn, that's actually pretty good.
Yep.
I really like the aesthetic.
The aesthetic's good, and it feels satisfying to play. That was one of the things that kept me going back to Bloodborne, is that the combat feels so satisfying when you get it right. There's like a rhythm to it. I don't think Baldur's Gate 3 has that, but it's not trying to, you know, like it doesn't.
So
it's turn-based, so you don't really have to worry about that. But like I've often found in other games with combat that aren't Bloodborne, I'm like, this doesn't feel like Bloodborne, which doesn't make it bad. It's just I would rather be playing Bloodborne because that feels really good to get right.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that again and have new enemies, like when I was going through the first level and it was a bunch of winding streets and I didn't know I don't have it memorized the way I have Central Yarnum memorized. I was like, oh sick, it's like Central Yarnum, but it's scary again and I'm worried about dying. That's fun. Plus there was like a demented little circus puppet as one of the first enemies that you encounter, and I love circus stuff, so I was very excited about that.
Nice. I like how I can't remember exactly what the term was, but when Jacob was talking about how like the name Lies of P could have used some like more polish, but then there's like that one game mechanic. What was it called?
I don't know
because
like I haven't encountered it yet. Yeah, it's some stupid thing. I'm like, we really should have come up with a new title for this. Cause that's the worst part. He isn't kidding. Like it's it's the worst part of the game. It really is. It's terrible.
We just have to see.
But
it
I mean,
as,
if that's
something
the only
charming,
complaint. Yeah. So far, also, like, I've been keeping an eye out, but no one's referred to the protagonist character, presumably Pinocchio, with any definitive pronouns. And I think some of the item descriptions use he, his, but, kind of neat that that's not, that doesn't seem to be like a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can presume that it is Pinocchio, and yeah, I can see that the pronouns being a more ambiguous thing there. I was gonna say this week, my friend showed me we had finished watching Vinland Saga season 2, so they picked the next anime. We checked out the first episode of Blue Eyed Samurai. It's this new Netflix show.
I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, I hadn't heard much about it, or I like kind of intentionally went in as blind as I could, and I was it was really good actually. It's got a kind of like arcane-y looking animation style where it's like 3D doctored up to look like 2D.
I've seen a couple of clips from it, and it's what I mean to get around to watching, but ever since Netflix changed its like account sharing regulations, I don't have it up on the TV anymore. I can only get it on like my phone and stuff, so I don't watch Netflix half as much.
Thanks, Netflix.
I mean, it's fine. I don't really need to rewatch Castlevania for the 82nd time.
There's that Castlevania Nocturne that's out now, actually. I haven't watched that
either.
There
is! I watched that. It was fine.
Okay.
It was just kind of like... If it hadn't been trying to follow up Castlevania, a show that I thought was very good, I'd probably be like, this is a cool show. But since it is kind of a Castlevania follow-up, I'm like, wow, this doesn't feel as good and thought out as Castlevania did. So I found it mildly disappointing for a variety of reasons. A lot of the stuff was cool. Aesthetically, a lot of the designs were cool. I thought, setting it in a different time period than the original, like, hell yeah, let's do that. That'll be cool. But then so many of the character and story decisions I felt were horrifically rushed for no reason.
That's too bad.
And I was just like, I wish that it wasn't that way, because it could be really good, and instead it's just kind of mid. But that happens sometimes.
It would be pretty hard to follow up Castlevania.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, Castlevania is one of those shows that it's just incredibly, incredibly good. So it's really difficult. Like those are some huge shoes to fill. How do you do that? How do you step in and make another cast of likable characters? Like it's not going to be easy.
It'd be
I unfortunately
interesting.
don't think they managed it,
Oh,
but
that's too bad.
they tried.
Makes me wonder what that like this Mad Max Fury Road sequel, or I guess it's a prequel, it's gonna be like.
Mm-hmm. It's no secret that Mad Max Fury Road is my favorite film of all time. So I don't have high hopes for its prequel. I feel like they're gonna do kind of the same thing that I feel like they did with Castlevania Nocturne, where it's like, oh, we have something that works. Let's just make another one of the thing that we already have, as opposed to making something that's interesting. Because I feel like one of my biggest problems with Castlevania Nocturne is that it was trying to be Castlevania, but it was just kind of hitting the bullet points. It felt more like someone's fan fiction of Castlevania than something that was in that universe, I guess.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's gonna be the same with the Furiosa film. I think a lot of like you get everything that you need of Furiosa's backstory. You understand it already. Like you don't need to know any more than you get in Fury Road to understand everything that character is about. I think that's one of its strongest points is that it manages to convey so much while literally having so few moments of dialogue. To then be like, oh no, actually we're gonna tell you we're gonna show you what happened. I'm not sure if I need that. I'm not sure if I do. I hope that it's good. I harbor my own reservations, and I genuinely don't think that it will be, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a little torn because the world building that was kind of like teased in Fury Road is very like intriguing, like with the bullet farm and like the whole like post-apocalyptic society that exists. So I'm always a sucker for like when things get like explore those like smaller details more, but at the same time Fury Road is such a like tight film just by itself. Part of me is like, wait, what if you just kind of left it to exist as it is? It's so flawless. Or like, it's not completely flawless, but it's pretty damn close.
It's about as close as you're gonna get. Like, I have so few moments where I'm like, this is anything that I would consider a mistake, that it's good enough for me to call perfect at that point. And I can still leave it that way. Like, I don't have to see the new one if I don't want to. And if people say that it's bad, I don't have to go see it. I can just not. I know it's by George Miller, so it's good that they still have him on the project. And I'm sure there's gonna be some interesting visuals, if nothing else. But I don't know. I think that I may just not see it. It might be cool. It might not. I don't know if I want to take that risk on my favorite film. It's kind of like how I haven't actually seen any of the other Mad Max films. I don't feel like I need to. I'm satisfied with Fury Road. I'm like, this is good enough. That's fine.
Trying to remember what year Road Warrior came out in the 90s. I don't remember when Mad Max 3 came out, the one with Tina Turner, but they're so far apart from Fury Road that, you know, they're very different.
Yeah.
I enjoy them all. I'd watched them before Fury Road came out. Not
I think
trying
that
to
would be the
flex or
correct way to
anything.
do it. No, like if I were going to have seen them, I would have wanted to have seen them before Fury Road. I feel like post Fury Road, that's just gonna all the sort of imperfections will just show all the more on that. If they exist, I don't know. I assume that they do because I know that some of the budget for the first few Mad Max films was rough to non-existent.
Yeah, well, the first Mad Max film is like, yeah, I want to say it was like 1990, but I can't actually remember now. But yeah, it's like a very low budget indie Australian film with like young up and coming star Mel Gibson.
What do you think about the Timothy Chalamet Willy Wonka that is a thing that is in this universe
I mean, everything
that exists?
everything. I like Timothy Chalamet, but like everything with Timothy Chalamet in it, when I specifically watch it, has this like, it's polluted by the fact that like my Timothy Chalamet looks a lot like my brother. It's kind of uncanny. So I'm just like, it's just funny. And also I was like, I think that Wonka movie, is it coming out this month or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh, they should have delayed it so it could come out at the same time as Dune Part 2, so there could be like a Barbenheimer effect, but it's like,
Oh, that would have been
me and my friends were like, oh yeah, it could be Donka 2024.
Wonka
Yeah.
2020.
Or Duneka.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Timothy Chalamet looks like he's doing a fine job as Wonka. It was more like my initial reaction to the Wonka trailer when I saw it was like, I mean, the fun part about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the like fantastical chocolate factory, and this is like a prequel before he has that. But I guess apparently it's a musical, which I didn't know. Oh, Phaser 1X says Mad Max 1 was 1980, so I was 10 years off. Okay, thanks. And Road Warrior was 1981. Oh, okay, so Country Fried Mini said Mad Max 1 was 1980, but Phaser 1 says 1979. It's pretty close, so it doesn't really matter.
Goober says the snozberries must flow, which I think is possibly the best subheading for Donka 2024.
Donka 2024. Or someone else came up with a pretty good pun as well, where it's Chalamet.
If they came out in May.
Yeah. I think Dune's coming out at the beginning of March or something. Dune Part 2. I know you're not as excited for that as I am, which is fine.
Not. No, I'm really not. I can't get into Dune. I've tried. I just don't care, which is cool. You don't have to like everything, and it's rad if you don't. I would prefer that like people have opinions as opposed to just being like, well, everybody else likes this thing, so I'm gonna like it too. And I certainly have a lot of unpopular opinions. But with Timothy Chalamet as Wonka, the biggest thing is like, you gotta have some semblance of whimsy, I feel like, to play a convincing Wonka. And the lad just doesn't have it. I'm not convinced. This man is not whimsical.
He has whimsy?
I don't think he has whimsy. I think he has a general, like, disaffected air, but I do not find it whimsical. I'm searching for the whimsy and it does not exist.
Googling furiously, does Timothy Chalamet have whimsy?
Does he possess whimsy? Has he ever stared at, like, wisps of dandelion drifting off in the breeze in wonder? Can this man whimsy?
Is whimsy just some weird kind of riz or something?
Uber would argue he has whimsy, but not true chaos.
Not true chaos.
I do feel like that's a fun aspect of Wonka's. You get to be a little unhinged.
Yeah.
I mean, no one will, in my mind, for my money, no one will ever play it better than Gene Wilder did.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to have to try and follow up Gene Wilder, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really a fair comparison for anybody. I don't think Johnny Depp was as good a Willy Wonka as Gene Wilder, and there are still aspects of that film that
Yeah,
I enjoy.
I was gonna say, like, I honestly don't mind the Tim Burton Wonka movie.
I don't think it's as good, but like if it was like on TV, I wouldn't immediately change the channel. I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember the part where the Oompa Loompas sing. That's kind of funny.
Were you also traumatized by like the tunnel scene?
No, my mom was scared of that scene for some reason. I always thought it was just weird. Like I was like, hell yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but this feels cool. There's no earthly way of knowing of which way the river is flowing. Is it raining? Is it snowing? Is a hurricane a-blowing?
The one part that I really disliked from the Wonka trailer was the Hugh Grant Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, that is not doing it for me.
Yeah.
I like how Hugh Grant was like, listen, I just needed money, so that's why I did this film. I have a family to feed. I'm like, bro, that's why I show up to my job every day, is because I need money, so I don't blame you for being a CGI Oompa Loompa to make some dough. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know if Hugh Grant's really like hurting for cash. Maybe it was like a favor that got called in.
Yeah. Who knows?
Oh,
it's
dang.
fine.
I've been assembling the head of this Gundam, and I put the big face sticker on, and now I have to peel it off because I realize it has a whole ponytail piece that has to like be wedged in between the two halves of the head, and I didn't put it on.
Oh no!
So I'm gonna try and delicately peel the sticker off.
Gotta do some surgery.
And for anyone, I guess most people watching my stream would have seen the thumbnail, and there's 2 Gunpla boxes in it. But right now I'm just finishing up this no-grade Dragon Gundam. It's very cheap and little and charming, and then I have this janky Hamma Hamma, which it technically is a high grade, I think. Right, I need to find out. Oh, I think if I look at the runners inside the box, it might have the year printed on them. Oh shit, 1986? Damn.
That one's old. Is that one older than Mad Max then?
Older than what?
Older than Mad Max. I forget what year your chat
yeah, it is
determined.
older than Mad Max.
Older than Mad
sorry,
Max. That's
it's not it's not older than Mad Max. I messed up the dates again.
That's okay. I can't remember a single number except my name, which has 5 in it. So that's the one that I know. That's the only number.
Yeah, surely you can at least remember that one.
I can. I can blame everything else on dyscalculia, which I do have, but I did choose my name myself, so I'm pretty sure I gotta remember that one.
Yeah, you paid good money for that name, right?
I paid such good money for that name, and am continuing to, because it's fun to get all of your documents redone.
Well, it's a pretty good name, so seems like it's worth it.
Thank you.
Oh,
I have
damn.
to look up what a Furby's eye looks like so that I can paint my Furby's eyes.
I just looked at my stream analytics and it says I have 69 views. Nice.
Hey, good for you.
Yeah, no one else watches stream now. We gotta keep it there. But I can't tell people that aren't watching the stream not to watch it. Yeah, this entire... The entire face of this Gundam, the detail's all done with one very large sticker, and now that it's been peeled off once, he's got a bit of a lumpy looking face, but it's fine.
Okay, I've got to decide on like an eye color for this Furby. I feel like I'm gonna go with like a bright blue. We're gonna see how that turns out.
I can't remember the name of the account, but there's one TikTok account that makes like weird cursed Furbies.
Oh
Do
yeah,
you follow that one?
we love a cursed Furby. I've definitely seen a couple different cursed, I don't know what to call them, cursed Furby accounts, I guess. Cursed Furby influencer is not the right word, but whatever you would call
Furby
that.
creators?
Furby content creators, yes. They're artists, they're crafting masterpieces. I'm attempting to do the same on a much smaller canvas. I might have to take this off camera to do the eyes, but I'm gonna try and do it on camera.
Yeah, eyes are hard to do live.
Fortunately, this Furby has like big old eye places. I don't really know what this is called for a faceplate for a Furby, but a big old eye void. Yeah. It's just kind of like a flat face plane that's gonna get a Furby face on it. Whatever the fuck you call that part of the Furby.
The eyes?
The eyes. My Furby tattoo has blue eyes, so...
Oh, nice.
That is
I
why
forgot
this
you had a
Furby
Furby
will have...
tattoo.
I routinely forget that I have a Furby tattoo, because it's wintertime now, and I'm wearing, like, long sleeves, and it's higher up on my arm, so I forget about it sometimes. You'd feel like getting a Furby tattoo would be one of those things that you kind of wouldn't forget, but surprisingly, you can forget that you have that.
Yeah. Do you, did you have a lot of Furbies, or have you had a lot of Furbies in your life?
I never had, like, an excess of Furbies, I would say. I did have one or two. I think I had one that was, like, an official, like, this is the real Furby, that does the robotic, like, walking and talking kind of thing. I had a Furby CD-ROM computer game that I adored. Oh, nice. And I had a couple of those, like, McDonald's did a Furby Happy Meal toy at one point. Yeah. But it was just like a solid piece of plastic that was shaped like a Furby. It didn't light up or do any little Furby noises or anything like that. So had one of those as well.
I remember seeing a Furby for the first time at some sort of like, you know, daycare or like sport meetup thing my brother was going to, and being like slightly scared of it, but also like quite intrigued, being like, what is that thing? But I never got any myself, I guess, because every time I was asked for what gift I wanted or saved up allowance or whatever, it was usually like a Bionicle or like Mega Bloks Dragon thing or something. So
love a Mega Bloks Dragon, honestly.
Yeah, I was organizing a Conquest tournament at my local game store recently, and one of the tables we set up was using my custom set of fantasy terrain that is repurposed Mega Bloks Dragons castle pieces.
I love that, and I immediately recognized what those were in your video. I was like, oh, those are the things.
Yeah, it's like, if you know, you know.
I'm gonna do waffle ears for this Furby. Painted them brown, but I'm making a change. Yeah, I don't know why so many people were disturbed by Furbies. I just think they're weird little guys. My partner hates them though. We've talked about, like, he lives abroad, so at this point in time we're not living together, and that's just like a, you know, sometime in the future maybe conversation right now.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, I mean, you own a house, so it'd make more sense if I moved in with you. And then I was like, great, but you can't change any of the core thesis of the way I've decorated this house. And he was like, I wouldn't dream of it. I might encourage you to put any new Furby purchases you make in less communal areas of the house. And I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I was
I will
gonna say,
put
like, how
Furbies
dare he?
wherever I please. He's not so much into Furbies, which is fair. He finds them creepy and unsettling.
Damn, I can't believe you're dating someone with such bad taste.
You know, it's not a perfect situation. But you realize that the perfect person who is going to adore Furbies, you gotta settle at some point, or live your life forever alone, surrounded by 6,000 Furbies.
Yeah.
It wasn't get rid of your Furbies, or you can't have Furbies, or I hate them. It's just, oh my gosh, I'm scared of them. Please don't put them near me. Which I feel like is a much more wholesome way of dealing with that.
I feel like they should probably get a say in it if they're gonna live there, but I mean,
Yeah,
there's gotta be at
until
least
then, I'm
one
just gonna...
Furby in the communal space. Like, come on.
Yeah.
How
Gotta
else are
have a
people gonna
Furby
know
looking out
that you
for
have
you.
a bespoke Furby collection?
I only have one bespoke Furby, to be fair. I only own one at this point in time. Because, like, I didn't bring my childhood Furbies with me. Big mistake, I know.
Yeah.
When I moved out of the house. But I feel like now that I have an actual, like, arcade game and stuff, and arcade flooring in my living room, I should get an arcade-themed herb to go with it.
Oh, do you buy like a game cabinet?
I bought something that I said I wasn't going to, because I thought no one would drive me like 4 or 5 hours away from where I live to haul a goddamn game back to where I live. I keep trying to not dox myself by saying the particular states of this. Yeah. But someone was willing to do so, so I don't know if you're familiar with the game Stompin' Spider Deluxe from Chuck E. Cheese. Is where I first played that as a kid.
I might have experienced that at some point, but it's not ringing any bells.
It's similar to like a dance game in that there's like a foot pad that lights up and then you step on the little circles and you squash spiders.
Nice.
It's one of those. So I have that in my house.
That's awesome.
So I'm a very normal person who makes responsible adult choices.
That's funny how like you were like, I'm not gonna buy it, and then someone just happened to be willing to enable you to purchase it.
Yeah, that keeps happening to me. I say that I'm not gonna do things, and then same partner was like, you gotta at least try. You're American. You'll drive any amount of distance for any reason. I'm like, it's not gonna happen.
That's how Americans work.
Yeah, he was like, well, you at least gotta ask. So I was like, fine, you know, whatever. I'll ask, like, a friend or two. And I did. And they were like, hey, actually, ask this mutual friend of ours who you've met, like, once or twice. They'll do it. I was like, they won't. And then they were like, no, actually, that sounds like a blast. I would love to. The worst part about that entire experience was that it did fit in the car, not a truck that we brought that back in, a car. This was an experience. But the trunk was slightly open, and it did beep to let us know that it was open literally the entire way home.
And it was like a 4-hour drive?
It was probably, like, with stops and everything like that, in transit, closer to 5 or 6.
Oh boy.
So, that was probably one of the least pleasant aspects of a road trip I'd ever been on. For the most part, you could kind of, like, trick yourself into not hearing it if you were playing music and the music happened to have like its beat in time with the beeping, but then you would realize what was happening if like the chorus would change or something like that, and it was right back to just going insane hearing this beeping. It's quite the adventure.
Sounds like
Good
it.
time though. Yeah.
Sounds like it was worth it. People who are watching my stream, you can see now I've finished building this tiny dragon Gundam. It's very basic, very charming. RD says, what? No weapons? It's the Dragon Gundam from Mobile Fighter G-Gundam. It's just like, I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. It's like Gundam boxing wrestling matches, kind of. They don't got weapons. But now I'm gonna move on to the Hamma Hamma, and this is a kit that someone sent to me, so I actually had to go online to find pictures of the instruction manual, because they weren't in the box. But I found them, so.
I'm adding some mint chocolate chip dots to the Furby. I intend to get this all painted up in a single session because it's a goofy mini and I want to have a good time with it.
Solid.
I don't want to take forever on it, so he's coming along pretty good actually.
Damn, with this model kit being from 1986, the instructions is all like crammed onto 2 pages basically. And it has
that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I bet that instruction book is still more comprehensible than some of the Warhammer ones you'll find.
Yeah, Warhammer doesn't have the best instructions.
Topher is asking how my partner feels about the arcade carpet. Very pro arcade carpet. Thinks that's cool. Was also very pro getting an arcade machine because my partner was like, "Oh, it's like The Sims. Like you just do the infinite money hack in The Sims and then you buy an arcade machine and that's what you do." And I was like, "Will you teach me how to do the infinite money hack in real life?" And apparently my partner does not know how to get infinite money in real life. So unfortunately,
dang. Yeah,
that didn't translate from The Sims.
If you figure that out, you gotta let me know.
I'll tell you. I don't currently know. My working theory is just be born rich is how you get infinite money in this life, and I didn't do that.
That reminds me of some meme or article I saw on Twitter one time of like Oprah Winfrey shares her secret tips to like living a fulfilling life. And I was like, step 1, have $1 billion fucking dollars.
Yeah. That's a really good step, you know? It kind of helps. It kind of helps.
Just to have that little bit leg up. Yeah, I'm clipping out, you know in the Gunpla kits, the polycap pieces, they're like the soft rubbery joint bits?
Yeah.
So I'm clipping out the polycaps from this 1986 model kit, and it's quite an experience. In my chat, Country Fried Minis commented on how ancient the runners look, and yes, this feels like an ancient runner.
I didn't know that, like, they had that special name, polycaps. Good name for them.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly why they have that name. It has something to do with the material they're made of that I don't know. Can't remember the actual technical term for. Not that it matters. Have you... I haven't had the opportunity yet of, like, having the, like, runner versus sprue conversation with people in person, or like seeing about confusing, like hanging out with mini painters and be like, oh yeah, I just clipping these pieces off the runner, or doing the opposite with the Gunpla. I don't know why they're called runners or called sprues, honestly.
I have no idea either. I feel like people tend to pick one that they're gonna call it based on what hobby they first got into, and then they don't deviate from that, like, ever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and paint the pupils on this Furby, so this will be off screen for just a second for some very important eye painting. Please bear with me, chat.
It is pretty important. Yeah, Zeonic Shadow, they're fossil polycaps. Or you were born in 1986, so... Yeah, I mean, the Dragon Gundam I just built, that came out the year I was born.
Oh, I think we did pretty good. That looks pretty good so far.
Nice. Is your Furby Griffin being used in any particular games?
No. It's... I have no purpose for owning this. I just saw it and immediately knew that I needed to paint it. I honestly don't know who else this miniature could have possibly been made for. Because I absolutely want a Furby Griffin miniature, and I can't think of another person who would. But I want to use it in, like, theoretically, like a D&D or
yeah,
something as a
like
magical creature.
It's like, alright players, the monster of the week is a Furby Griffin, but the challenge is you have to become friends with it, don't kill it.
Roz, I promise if I discover the infinite money glitch, I will pay you for your moderation services and to assemble miniatures for me. Unfortunately, I have yet to discover that, so as of right now, I cannot do that, and I assemble my own miniatures, and I suffer for it.
Yeah, you gotta go through the experience of getting those crusty super glue hands, inhaling some good old microplastics.
My cats are trying to break into the hobby room. They have said, "You have painted enough. Free us.
Oh,
Let us
no.
cause chaos." Like, no, I'm sorry, my boys. You cannot come in here.
Yeah, I think the last time we did a co-stream, you were probably in your, like, previous hobby setup. Are you in a completely different room now?
Yeah, I'm in a fully hobby dedicated room with a door,
dedicated
so
hobby
the cats
space.
can't. Yep, that's the advantage of owning your own home, is that you can decorate it however you want. If you want to have an entire room just for paint and miniatures, you can do that. I have that.
If you want to have
Very
an
cool.
arcade carpet, you can do that.
Yep, sure can. Everything's gonna get weirder and cooler. It's just time and money. Slow projects over many years as opposed to spending a ton of money and being like, I have to do everything right now. Which is sometimes how I feel. But I have to remember to be rational about that.
I don't know if you're picking up any of the sounds of me clipping out this plastic, but it's making like I'm getting some
It's a good snap.
Some squeaky snaps from this ancient
I'm not
plastic.
hearing any. I'm not hearing like any squeak. It's just a satisfying like snapping plastic sound.
Someone in my chat says, as a former mold maker machinist, knowing the origin of these terms, a sprue is a large diameter bore. The molten plastic enters the mold through, and the runner connects multiple chambers to the sprue, and each runner connection is a gate. So thanks for that, another Nate. Zeonic Shadow, this is the Hamma Hamma from 1986. And at the beginning of the stream, I quickly built up this basic no-grade Dragon Gundam from 1994. because it's just it's the old school Gundam building stream with Fiverr tonight. I will be back to painting things on stream next week, hopefully.
Will you be painting more Conquest Last Argument of Kings?
Yeah, eventually. I got, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of that little, it's like a mini Iron-Blooded Orphans diorama.
No, I don't think I've seen the pictures of that yet. Usually I'm pretty up to date on your social media postings, but I must have missed that one.
I only just put those on Discord tonight, but they're on Patreon for a bit too. But I'll do that. Probably it'll be the streams after this, and then then Conquest. I've got so much Conquest to paint still that I'm gonna be painting Conquest on stream like in perpetuity. It'll just be like I'll be switching it up with other things occasionally because you know I can't just marathon paint an entire army. I need to like switch it up a bit and take breaks.
That's very fair.
But yeah, we got lots of Conquest boys to paint. I've been it's a bit easier to motivate myself to paint when I'm like actually playing the game a bit more, but I'm still could be faster. Also, those snaps I just got from clipping out those pieces were very loud, so sorry about that.
Someone caught glimpse of my Furby's eyes that were painted and went, damn, those eyes are haunting. And I'm like, excellent, that's the goal. I just have to add their like one individual highlight, and I think I'm about ready to do that. So let me once again reference picture of Furby eye. Yes. Okay, they've got like two. Upper and a lower highlight. Should be able to do this. I just need to literally have no paint on my brush. Wild.
I'm going a bit goblin mode on this because I'm like, it's an older, or well, I did this with the first model too, with both of them. Like, it's older, so it'll be simpler. I can just clip out all the pieces first and then look at the instructions. And it went okay with the last one, but I'm hoping I don't regret that decision with this one. But I'm doing it already, so it's too late. I'm committed.
Oh my gosh, I did it. I got the eyes perfect.
Oh
they
my God.
are they're fantastic.
Congratulations.
I cannot wait. I don't know that I could have painted a more haunting Furby expression in this. Hope the camera is picking that up because I'm really proud of it. I'm gonna definitely take good photos and post it on Instagram later.
Yeah, do it. The people need to see this Furby Griffin.
The people need to see this.
I don't
What they want, damn it.
For me, with painting eyes, it's always like a bit of a roll of the dice. Like some minis I have are like, oh man, I nailed the eyes. And then some of them, it's like, how have I been painting for this many decades and I still can't do it?
Yeah, I feel that.
That's why painting my Conquest Spires army was very good, because it was like just a very like dry brush wash heavy speed paint army, and like I only had to do the only eyes I did do, I gave them like a glow effect, so they didn't have any pupils, so that was a bit of a cheat there.
That's fair.
But my other army is like just the regular ass humans, so I got so many eyes to paint.
Fortunately, this model is like bigger than if like your average. It's like, you know, if you had a guy standing next to it, it would be the size of like a large horse. So there's a bit more room to work with on the face.
Are the eyes like
Bigger
big
canvas.
proportional like cartoon anime eyes?
Yeah, of course, like what a
Nice.
Furby has.
You just painted them with like a menacing glare instead of an uwu.
No, it's the same sort of dead-eyed face that a Furby has. I don't know how to describe a Furby.
It's the classic soulless Furby look.
Yeah, it looks like how a Furby does.
Soulless.
It's cute, but there's nothing back there except maybe some sort of possessed spirit of a Victorian child.
Yeah, can we get like a sequel to those Annabelle horror movies, but it's a Furby instead?
But it's a Furby. That'd be great. I think there actually are some like really shitty straight to DVD early 3D Furby movies.
Oh damn.
They're probably terrible.
Like all CGI?
I think so. I think
that sounds
those
kinda familiar.
exist. I know they're not good. Like, there's no way in hell that any of them are worth watching. Might be worth tormenting my friend Dustin, who loves to watch bad movies, with.
Oh, yeah.
He's always trying to find terrible stuff. Like, the man owns Velocipaster on DVD.
Nice. I have a copy of Velocipaster, actually. It came in like a multi-pack of like bad dinosaur movies.
Yeah. All that kind of stuff. Furby for the people. Yeah, he's a Furb.
What's a Warhammer army that you could do where like every model is like some kind of Furby proxy?
See, that's the problem, because someone mentioned that in one of my, in my Discord server that I have, and I was like, oh, well, I guess, you know, Furbies are kind of like birds, and Tzeentch has some kind of weird bird rainbow stuff going on, so I guess you could do Furby Tzeentch. And then it was like, yeah, you really fucking could do Furby Tzeentch. And it's not a bad idea, and it would be kind of fun. But I'm like, I'm not doing another army. I've got other Warhammer projects that I need to work on. I've talked myself out of getting a Flesh Eater Quartz army when they new model Flashy, so want.
Oh yeah, the one I always think of is the one that's got like the judge's wig, but the wig is just like organs that are draped over his head.
Yeah, it's so gross and cool. But I don't need a Flesh Eater Quartz army. I need to finish my Knight army that I have. And then I can think about acquiring any other Warhammer miniatures. But right now, I'm perfectly good. We're fine.
I mean, you're just describing the classic wargamer dilemma of like, no, I gotta finish this other army project first.
Yeah.
Says every wargamer ever.
Andy Helson says, that Furb. Thank you. Yes, it is a Furby Griffin. I'm very, very pleased with how this is.
Thank you for acknowledging the Furb.
Thank you for noticing that there's a Furb.
I learned the other day that Urban Outfitters is selling refurbished iPods.
Okay.
So I'm like,
interesting.
It's come to the point now where like the iPods are like coming back. It's like a trendy way to listen. It's like, oh, you can listen to music and it's like an MP3 that you like load on here, and it's not through like an app on your smartphone. But if any people who are buying a refurbished iPod to like actually get the music files onto it, you have to go, it's like pretty janky, and you gotta like download some software because iTunes isn't like a thing anymore. And it's just that's the one who like iPods came out, or like the first iPod came out, I think I was like 10 or 11 or something. So I witnessed the like birth and death of the iPod, and now it's like having this weird kind of resurgence apparently.
I think people just get tired of having to pay subscription services, and it's like, hey, you
Yeah.
could just own this. And it's like, yeah, we used to own things. It was kind of neat.
Back in my day. Yeah, it's especially like, you know, when I started getting smartphones, they would have a music playing app, just like a generic music playing app on the phone.
Sure.
So you could load MP3s onto it, and then just like over the years, the like generic phone operating system apps got worse and worse, and like less convenient to just play your MP3s on. Now it's like, oh well, if you want to like listen to music while you're driving, you gotta use like the Spotify integrated widgets or functionality, and it's like the similar shittiness of how the industry just shifted to everything being like wireless Bluetooth headphones, and the headphone jacks are gone, and it's like, I don't know if this is good. Like,
I hate that. I like my headphones. I still have a phone. I have to use like an adapter.
Yeah.
Like a USB-C adapter. I really hate not being able to have headphones and also charging at the same time, but whatever. At least I have an option for headphones.
Yeah, like my partner, she specifically like imported a phone that was normally for sale in Canada because she like wanted a headphone jack. She's like, I refuse.
It's an extremely valid take.
Yeah, I got respect, or mad respect, for that.
I would have kept using my phone that had like the capacity to do both, but it broke, so I had to get a new one, and they were like, yeah, we don't really do that anymore. And I'm like, oh, that's fun for me, I guess.
Yeah, that reminds me of an awkward encounter I had with some phone store employees this summer, because the phone, I don't know if you know, the mobile data like plans you get in Canada are pretty shit, and the provider I was with got bought out by like one of the bigger companies in Canada, so I was just like forced to switch providers to this other company, which is extra funny because I used to be with them but then switched away like over 5 years ago because they were bad, and that's like, well, things come full circle, I have to like switch to them now. Well, I mean, I didn't have to, but, and it's like, got the plan transferred over and everything, and they were explaining it to me. I'm like, oh, so it's worse than my last plan and I can't really do anything about it, and they're just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. I guess it's a real first world problem at the end of the day, but still annoying.
Oh, that sounds irritating, so I don't blame you for being dissatisfied with that.
It's like the same thing as the headphone jack. It's like, so one day I just went in to get a new phone because mine broke, and then you just can't get one with a headphone jack anymore.
Yep.
It's like, how did we get here?
We're old, I think, is the problem, Liam. We're old. We're doing a back in my day.
Yeah, I mean, pretty soon.
Back in my day, Netflix used to come in the mail.
The job I was working when I graduated high school, I was working at a video rental store.
Hell yeah.
And it was like the last one in my city.
Those died. Those definitely died.
Yeah, but they're charming.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the one I worked at was like an independent, like, you know, neighborhood video store. It wasn't a Blockbuster or anything.
Oh, cool.
Another kind of retro thing that I wouldn't say it's having a resurgence or anything, but I've got a couple friends who have been on a bit of a VHS collecting spree over the last couple years.
I love VHS tapes. I counted them the other day. I have 68 VHS tapes still.
Nice.
Yeah.
Country Fried Minis points out that VLC has a phone app, which I didn't know, so thanks for pointing that out. So VLC is a way you could listen to MP3s on your phone. But yeah, VHS, it's like, it really depends on what movie you're watching, because like some movies look better on VHS than they do on DVD. Like the first Shrek movie, it looks better when it has that like slight downgrade of the VHS tape.
Sure.
But my friends, they've collected some pretty bespoke tapes. They have like the original like pilot episode of Twin Peaks, the like feature length special that's like episode 1 of Twin Peaks on VHS. And they have they found a copy of the original Ghost in the Shell on VHS.
Oh, nice.
That I was pretty jealous of.
I have Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust on VHS.
Oh damn, that's a good one.
Probably one of my most obscure and most prized ones.
That's
I also have
flex.
a couple like seasons of The Twilight Zone on VHS.
Nice.
And have some Studio Ghibli films on VHS, which aren't exactly rare, but the people who have them tend to keep them, so they're very expensive if you're looking to purchase them. I found some in the storage bins of someone who didn't want any of their VHS tapes anymore and was like, please just take them. And I was like, well,
gladly.
Mind if I do. Also, Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. A classic.
I think my most flexible tape is I have Akira with the original English dub on VHS.
Hell yeah.
And it has this sticker on the cover that says "Not for Kids."
Yeah, that is definitely a not for kids film.
Well, yeah, and if you don't know like about anime and you look at the cover, it's like, oh, this is some sci-fi cartoon. I'll rent this for my boy.
Get on the motorcycle. Let's go.
Oh, cool! He's got a cool motorcycle.
Still don't know how I feel about Akira overall. It sticks in my head, and every now and then I'm like, what do I think about this film? And I'm like, a lot, but nothing specific.
Akira does give you lots to think about. I need to read the manga series someday, because the movie cuts a decent amount out of the manga, because it's a decently long manga.
It's a decently long movie, too.
Yeah.
Like, they were trying.
The Zeonic Shadow is flexing his anime tapes in my chat. They got Gundam 80 on VHS, Gundam Wing, and Endless Waltz. His uncle has the original Guyver anime on VHS, damn. It's funny how these old forms of physical media come back around and become precious artifacts.
I feel like I have one Gundam anime on VHS, but I can't remember which one it is. There's like there's a kind of like collectibles store near us that has a bunch of stuff on VHS that you wouldn't expect. I know they had a series called Bubblegum Crisis on VHS, which I did not purchase but considered, and then I saw the price of it and I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to spend that much on VHS tapes today.
Yeah, how much was Bubblegum Crisis? Because that one's a pretty well-known 80s anime.
I don't remember what the price of it was, but it was probably over $200, and that's when I was like, I don't need to own this right now.
Yeah.
I'll check my collection after the stream and let you know if I do own... I feel like I own something that's mecha or Gundam adjacent, if not directly.
And then RD in my chat just said one word, Betamax. I don't, I'm too young to have ever really seen a beta, or like I saw some Betamax tapes when I worked at the video store, but when I was like, in my living memory, I don't ever recall going over to someone's house who had like a Betamax player, so when I found out what Betamax tapes were in like the year 2012, I'm like, oh, that's neat, it's like a VHS but smaller.
Yeah, same. I kind of missed Betamax. And Laserdisc, I think, was the other.
Oh yeah, I found out about discs around the same time I found out about Betamax, and yeah, Laserdiscs are hilarious.
I miss how chunky everything used to be. Technology isn't chunky nowadays.
Yeah, it's true. Bring back the chunky tech, people.
Yeah, like I want things to be chunky.
I need
like a
bulbous...
VHS tape, you could drop that thing in the mud and rinse it off and it would still you still had a decent chance of it working. Not a great chance, but like it wasn't a total loss situation.
I'll willingly give up like a square foot of desk space to just have a big bulbous CRT monitor back on there. What the hell?
You know I have a CRT TV. You know that exists in my house. I'm so happy I have one.
Oh yeah, it's important. I don't have a CRT TV anymore, so I had to buy a dumb HDMI to VGA adapter if I wanna, or so I could like, you know, for the once or two times a year I hook my PS2 back up to play something.
Sure. God. Man, I should get a PS2 to hook up to my TV. Play some Spyro.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one of the... I think I played... I never had any Spyro games myself, but I remember playing Spyro at friends' houses a lot, but it was always the PS1 games. But I'm a sucker for dragons, so Spyro was always seemed like a good boy.
Spyro was cool. I mean, most of the PS2 games that I owned were shitty, but I thought they were cool because there was no standards, right? Like, I was just like, oh man, there are Disney characters in this game, so it's cool. It was a shitty, like, Disney racing game, and also we had, like, an 102 Dalmatians adventure game, I guess? Terrible. They're absolutely awful quality to look at nowadays. Like, for nostalgia, I went and looked some of these up, and it's like, that's nothing. There's nothing happening in this game. But then it's like, didn't Kingdom Hearts come out for like the PlayStation 2? Wasn't that a PlayStation 2 game?
Well, when you said
Wild.
When you said Disney characters, I assumed you were talking about Kingdom Hearts there. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts
I wouldn't disparage Kingdom Hearts like that. Like, I think that's a decent game, and I did have that one as well, but also tons of shitty games.
Yeah, my partner's like favorite game franchise is Kingdom Hearts.
Valid choice.
She's all about that, and I'm like, it's like a dumb, like, fake argument we have sometimes of me always describing when I was a kid. I thought the Square Enix games were cool, and then when I found out what Kingdom Hearts was, it's like I wasn't much of a Disney kid growing up, so when I saw it, it's like, oh, it's like a cool game with Square Enix characters, but there's a bunch of Disney characters here for some reason. Why would they ruin it like that?
I had the opposite reaction. I'm just like, who the fuck are these, like, weirdos here? Why is this guy have an angel wing and a really long sword? Like, what the fuck is happening?
It's such
and then, like,
weird...
the chorus comes in, and you know it's supposed to be, like, an epic, dangerous moment, but you have no idea what the fuck is going on. You just don't know who these people are, and Wikipedia isn't necessarily a thing yet, so you can't just look them up. Like, I have no idea who this man is. Why is he here?
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is such just like a weird combination of things to have happened, yet here we are.
Here we are. It couldn't have happened in every universe. Like, there have to be some realities out there that did not get Kingdom Hearts.
It's like, help, I made a time machine and I accidentally butterfly affected the timeline, and now Kingdom Hearts never happened. We're on the wrong path. I can't remember if you were an Attack on Titan watcher or not.
I was not.
Okay. That was, well, actually, as I said earlier, I finished Vinland Saga Season 2, which I did that, and then I forgot that after that I finally watched the final part of Attack on Titan, which was interesting.
Did you enjoy it?
It was like, I mean, the animation was anime as fuck, and like really good, really well done, and like the final battle on Attack on Titan is pretty crazy and epic. But like the way the things go with a lot of the characters is a little like weird, and has like a pretty doomer tier ending. Like it's got a very cynical ending.
Fair.
I'd say.
I mean, I can't be surprised by that. That seems to be par for the course with Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it's pretty, yeah. The author clearly has some stuff going on. I was processing some things when they were writing Attack on Titan. But it's a pretty crazy journey after, like, I've been watching Attack on Titan since, like, 2014, I think.
Oh yeah, that's a journey.
And it's just crazy that it's like, oh wow, we finally made it.
Has One Piece ended yet? Did that
No.
actually happen? That'll be the day. That'll be the day where you like can be like, that was a journey. That was a full ass thing, because that's been going for forever.
Yeah, I know the author for One Piece, he said that he has like a plan, and like the ending is like all planned out. It's just a matter of getting there. So I think it's feasible that we'll see the actual ending of One Piece in our lifetimes.
That'd be neat. I haven't watched any of it, so I don't know if I will ever get to experience that as a fan, but
I am not a One Piece watcher myself. My friend that I have watched JoJo with, we got caught up with part 6 like early this year, and they started watching One Piece with their brother, and they got like, I think they surprised themselves at like how hard they got into it. They got like swept up in the One Piece hype, and now they're One Piece enjoyers, and it seems like they're having a pretty good time with it.
I still need to finish Stone Ocean for JoJo's. I got
Stone
distracted. I think I had been watching nothing but JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and then I was like, I need to step away from this from a little bit. I think I'm a little too deep in the JoJo's right now. I need to watch something else. And then I was like, I'll come back to it.
The JoJo's burnout is real. It's true.
I got pretty far though. I mean, I didn't do bad.
You did great. You caught up to like pretty close to where I was, and it took me like years. Country Fried Minis is looking up what the Hamma Hamma looks like, and that's got them down the rabbit hole of looking at the other crazy Neo Zeon designs from Gundam Double Zeta. There's some truly unhinged ones out there. Like the Cubely is a pretty cool one. Or Quibbly, I can't remember how to say it. That's the thing about Gundam. The Zeon suits are always like the cooler looking ones. They got like the fun curves and spikes. Whereas the Federation suits, it's like, that's just like the regular Gundam look. It's like, does nothing for me. It's like vanilla. Sure,
sometimes you do. You gotta paint a vanilla miniature.
Yeah, I guess.
You gotta design a vanilla Gundam.
I think the
Speaking of
closest...
vanilla, I'm getting out all of my stupid little fake whipped cream products and stuff so I can finish off this
Oh, hell
Furby
yeah.
with a little pizzazz. If you hear a bunch of plastic rustling, I'm sorry about that.
I've been making plastic rustling sounds the whole night. Something weird is happening with these. Or I'm putting this Hamma Hamma's claw hands together and they're just... Something's not going with it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
You're able to figure it out. It sucks when you're like, I'm stuck on the assembly part because it's not assembling the way that it should.
I'm wondering, like, is this just like because it's an old model kit? Is this just something I have to glue? I don't know. So you are putting the finishing touches on your Furby?
I am, yes. He's gonna be all finished up, which is great. I didn't do, like, my most detailed paint job ever. I just kind of did, like, a fun, simplistic one, but I'm still really proud of the way that it's turned out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the pictures of it after.
For sure. I think it'll be cute.
Okay, yeah, I built these claw hands and they're not quite holding together well, so I'm just gonna put them off to the side for a bit. We'll do those later.
I just gotta make sure I don't ruin the Furby with any of the final details that I'm putting on. It's always the worry I have when working. Because if I cover up those eyes that I painted so well with something stupid that I do, I'm gonna be so mad about
it. Someone pointed out in my chat that I might have accidentally trimmed off the pegs. Maybe. Maybe that's what I did. I don't know. Doesn't... Yeah, no, it doesn't look like it. They look, according to how they look on the instruction manual, it doesn't look like I trimmed anything off. Well, I don't know if this stream will be going long enough for me to finish this model anyways. It's kind of like... Yeah, we'll see.
Atomic Topher says that One Piece will never end.
So they say, but I don't know. That's one of the anime stories that I feel like will end. But you know, we'll have to wait and see.
Like everything reaches its conclusion at some point, whether due to genuine intent to finish it, lack of interest on an audience's part, or just like budget and or person making it gets old and doesn't want to make it anymore.
Yeah, like Hunter x Hunter, that seems like one of those anime / manga series that will never actually end and kind of be in limbo forever, but I don't know a lot about that one in particular, but I think that's a situation where the author was having health issues or something, which is fair.
Sucks. That's the worst way for it to go, because then you don't actually know, like, how it... You can always kind of believe that it was going to be better or worse than it might have ended up. Adding a bunch of fake chocolate sauce to this Furby now. If anyone's like, what the fuck is happening over here?
That's why your channel is so underrated, is because who else is using fake chocolate sauce and fake whipped cream on their minis projects?
People... No one, because common people have the good sense not to do this sort of shit. I always feel so ridiculous when this is the part of the miniature that I'm on. I'm like, oh yeah, and now after painting this to look like it's made out of mint chocolate chip ice cream, you add the sauce, and the sauce makes it look like chocolate eventually.
Everyone's got their own secret sauce for their minis.
Mine is literal sauce. You gotta sauce it up.
You had to, like, did you have to import those, like, fake food?
Yeah, they're usually like all the packaging is in, I want to say, Japanese characters. Yeah, it says made in Japan on it, so. It's all this stuff for making tiny food. I have these little itty bitty round, just like red spheres that kind of look like cherries. So he'll get one of those too. Then I think I'll just do a little bit of a gloss varnish on the eyes to make them shiny, and then this will just be set aside to dry. That'll be it. We've made a beautiful Furby, honestly. Painted start to finish in what, like 2 hours? That's not bad.
Oh, you like started it from the beginning in the stream?
Yeah.
Damn. I'm assuming you like primed it and stuff, or...
Yeah, I had it primed. That was it.
But yeah, that's impressive. 2-hour turnaround.
Yeah. Anyone's like, it's kind of shit, I can be like, well, I painted it in 2 hours.
It's like, it's a Furby Griffin. What do you mean it's shit?
It's a Furby Griffin. Like, shut up. It's great. But now I have to set it aside so that the syrup can dry and I don't accidentally knock into it with my elbow or something. I've done that before.
That's just a good sentence. So you gotta set it aside so the syrup can dry.
So yeah. The chocolate syrup that I put on the Furby has to dry, so I have to set that to the side. And if this was a cooking show, I could, like, pull another one out that I'd made ahead of time. But it's not. I don't have that prepared.
Well, if you need to head out to feed your cats, that's understandable.
My cats were fed before this stream, thankfully. But I was planning on wrapping up somewhere around the 2 to 2.5 hour mark, so...
Yeah, I guess I just hit the 2 hour mark on my stream.
Mm-hmm. But I can definitely stick around and chat. I have some other stuff that I can paint up if you were planning on going longer, because we are great at planning and didn't discuss how long we were going to stream. Oh, LP just got here too. Yes, you made it! I finished painting up the Furby Griffin that I was working on, and Liam and I were discussing when we were going to end the stream, but you did make it. Hello, welcome. How are you? LP was like, I hope that I can make it. I don't think I'll be able to, though, so it's fun. It's fun that they're here with us.
Perfect timing, then.
But I assume you haven't quite finished assembling your other Gundam.
Yeah, no, I think it's because it's from 1986. And I'm using instructions that I got online because it didn't come with any. It's taking a bit longer than the other one. Pretty crazy.
That makes sense. I would complicate things.
Now I've done a few other pieces and I'm just seeing, I'm like, oh, okay, some of these pegs, like, there is a peg there, but it's, like, not long enough to actually fit into the part, but, we'll get something out of this eventually. It's been a fun experiencing these old school kits, though.
Yeah, it must be nice to kind of look back on and be like, oh, this is, this is how far we've come.
One thing
it's gotta be kind of wild.
Oh, where is it going with that? One thing I want to experience eventually is, like, some of the older master grade kits have, like, actual metal screws that are involved in the build.
Oh.
For like the knees and stuff. I just like want to build one of those models eventually.
That sounds awful. I would never do that. No thank you. But
Yeah.
you have fun and let me know how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, yeah, the metal screw, it makes them a bit less flimsy, because you got like a good chunky metal bit in the build.
Makes sense.
Okay, I'm kind of seeing a piece now that might hold the wrist or hold the hand pieces together, but still, it's like being pretty jank. We're definitely in the jank zone.
I think I live permanently in the jank zone in terms of miniature assembly. I say shrug good enough far too often.
Yeah,
especially given the fact that some of my pieces will be entered in the Golden Demon this year.
Oh, yeah.
I shrug far too often at assembly.
Are you doing
Won't win.
Another night in the Golden Demon this year? I'm sure tons of people are like, oh, what flavor of night is Sugar Candy Minis gonna do this year?
I don't think enough people know me by like name or anything like that to be anticipating what I'm gonna do. But I think it'll be interesting. I have the pieces for the most part over here. I just have a couple other things that are gonna be waiting on, but I'm hoping that I get some time to get some good progress done over the Christmas holiday and just sort of paint a lot.
Yeah.
In between watching Muppet Christmas Carol for like the 37th time. Country Fried Minis has migrated over here. Hello. I'm glad you approve of the range of tones. Yeah, I'm kind of working with the color palette that I default to when I don't know what else to use. It is Gauss Blaster Green, Kislev Flesh, Scrag Brown, and Mornfang Brown, which makes mint chocolate chip ice cream, essentially. It's great. It's perfect. You don't need anything except those colors. You can make a wonderful little robot with them.
I recommend checking out Country Fried Minis' YouTube channel if you get a chance.
Oh, Country Fried Minis has a YouTube channel? That's rad.
Yeah.
I will check that out. I feel like as someone who also has references to food in their channel name, we should befriend each other.
Yes. I have become...
I can candy miniatures and you can country fry them.
I mean, Country Fried Minis' intro to his videos, he literally deep fries a mini, so...
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Country Fried Minis is a great guy.
Add Gauss Blaster Green to your collection. It is an essential paint. It is the color of mint chocolate chip ice cream, and everybody should own it. LP loves the Muppet Christmas Carol. Correct. It is, for my money, the best version of A Christmas Carol out there. I don't have a lot of money, so you can't really have a lot of money if that's your opinion as well. But it is the correct opinion. Michael Caine is such a compelling Scrooge, and has Bob Cratchit ever been more endearing than when played by a green felt frog? I don't think so.
I forgot that Michael Caine was in that.
Yeah, he's fantastic in it. It's my favorite Michael Caine performance ever.
Okay, I've been trying to get this guy's arms to stick together for a few minutes now, and I can't get it to quite cooperate. So I'm taking that as a sign of maybe that's enough model kit building tonight. How are you feeling about continuing the stream?
Yeah, I feel like this is a good place to wrap up. We've got a nice little stream here. It's a good, gentle sort of slope back into streaming for me, at least, and
Yeah, me
hopefully
too.
co-streaming with you again in the future. It's always a fun time.
Thank you for inviting me to co-stream on this festive holiday evening. We each managed to finish one thing. I built like the tinier Gundam first, and you built a Furby, so pretty solid for our first one back.
Yeah. That really is just kind of the difference between our channels. You're over there building vintage Gundams, and I'm like, hey, I have a Furby. I love that so much, honestly. This is my Furby. I think he turned out pretty good. I'm glad. I hope that everybody watching has like a happy holiday or some fun plans coming up. Does anybody have any final questions, comments, and or concerns for us? Because I did say we would take questions at the end.
Yep.
So raise your hands and we'll call on you.
Everyone, this is your last call for any any chat interactions. Country Fried Minis, yes, those claws are infuriatingly uncooperative, I would say so. Xerox EXE did paint some immortals, and he thanks us for the company. Another Nate said something about someone named Rachel Maxey. I'm not sure what he meant by that. That was earlier. I missed that message earlier.
Rachel Maxey's another YouTuber. She does like like vintage fashion and crafting and stuff like that. She's cool.
Cool.
Thoughts on Skittles? Country Fried Mini asks. I hate them. The texture of them, terrible. Can't stand them. Not a fan.
Skittles are okay. I think in terms of like small round candies, I'm more lean towards like the peanut M&Ms, perhaps.
Correct. A person of taste, a connoisseur.
Okay.
Peanut M&Ms are the correct answer in terms of small round candies. That, or I guess I'm old, but I also like a Junior Mint. Those are pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they have those in Canada.
Yeah, we do.
Excellent.
We have, I guess, one candy we have that's different is we have, I think that you have them, but they're called Smarties. They're like kind of just...
Oh, do you call them rockets there?
Yeah. And then our Smarties are just like different, they're just like knockoff M&Ms.
They're like the less good M&Ms.
I mean, to me, the taste is fairly indistinguishable, but yeah. They don't have, peanut, Smarties as far as I know, so that makes them objectively worse.
That's true. Alright, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Liam, I hope you have a happy holiday.
Yeah, you as well.
And thank you for streaming with me.
And thank you for streaming with me as well. And thanks for watching, everybody. I will be doing some streaming next week. That's the plan. And make sure you check out Sugar Candy Miniatures if you don't already. Because they also stream.
Likewise. Check out Millennial Model Mayhem. I don't know when I'll be streaming next, but I hope you all have a good night. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.